I'm Zach, this is Skylar, and this is the Quick and Dirty. All right, so what we have for you guys today is some hamstring recruitment stuff, all right? We're gonna show you a couple different variations of things that you probably have access to in your gym and how to apply them. As far as getting your hamstrings stronger, I don't really feel like I need to go too in depth on why that is important. You really just need to make sure you guys are being balanced. It's a quad dominant world out there, and if we're not getting the back of our legs strong as well, we're really missing out on what we could be doing here. Now, Sky is gonna demonstrate something with rings that can also be done with a TRX if you have one, but we don't. So we just do this with the rings. The doc actually has his shoes kicked off and his sweet Argyle socks, and he's gonna take it away on why he does this and why he also uses this with his clients. What you got, Doc?
Yeah, so sometimes it's difficult to keep the posterior chain, keep the hamstrings activated while you're recovering from some kind of a low back injury. If you have some compression you're avoiding, I've been in that position before where I was really gonna stay away from loading the spine for a couple of weeks. And I spent a lot of time on the rings during this sort of movement here. Not only is this gonna engage the hamstrings, it'll engage them pretty hard. You get a little cramped up there. But we're also taking a variation off of reverse plank as we do this. So we're maintaining that durability and the spinal stiffness that we're avoiding while we're staying away from squats and the like. So without further ado, I'll pull the heels back to the hips, making sure my hips don't mute into flexion, keeping that extended as I drive all the way out and bridge onto my scapula blades, pulling the heels all the way back toward the hips, and just maintaining a clean line between my shoulder, my hip, and my knee. This is not a high rep movement. I do this in sets of 8 typically. And by the end of that set of 8, you should be pretty torched, if not cramped up. All right, Z's got a variation for you that's pretty smooth application if you don't feel like setting up the rings or if that's too much of a challenge.
That's right, guys. Like we were saying, you know, TRX, rings, you can do all that stuff. What most of you do have access to, though, I'm sure, is a rower, all right? So what we're gonna do with this is just take that sliding seat and apply it to our movement. Now I'm gonna get fairly close to this. It's gonna be different, you know, depending on your guys' levers, but I'm gonna bring my butt about as close as I can get to this here. Now, like what we were saying, we really wanna work on getting those hamstrings strong. And just like Doc was cueing when he was doing it himself, you wanna get these hips up and through and not mute them out. I'm gonna take this out to my end range, and then I'm gonna bring it back in. Out to my end range, and then bring it back in. Also squeezing those glutes, staying nice and tight. Out to my end range. One more time. Bringing it back in. All right, guys, so that's just another way to get your hamstrings working. We can use the rower, we can use the rings, we can really start balancing out our athletes and our clients and making sure that everybody is working towards the most amount of balance as possible in their work.